Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is answering every question asked of him. How much does today's result affect United's search for a manager?
Yeah, it does affect it, I think, and I think we said pre-game that Solskjaer can make himself the number 2 choice. Now, if there's anything between now and the end of the season where United board say, you know what, I don't care about anybody else, we want this guy, then that would be remarkable. That would be remarkable. And I know it's tough to say right now, but I still think that their number 1 target was the Pochettino. But I've got to go on and say, like Rashford said there, this was different today. This was different, and he made a big change tactically and positionally with Rashford position and Lingard. Now, that's tough to do when you've been going so well. And he said it in his interview that he's been working on tactical and philosophical situations. He did it today in the first half. It worked out. Rashford scored, and the Spurs players didn't when they had the opportunity. So Rashford, of course, and De Gea, the main guys. But Solskjaer today, with that game plan, particularly in the first half, that's top marks to him.
Beyond that, and we saw Rashford who scored, De Gea had great moments. Lindelof, outstanding. Anders Herrera ran himself into the ground. He had cramp at the end. He couldn't move. Luke Shaw diving in. There's a commitment. There's a buy-in by the players, and that's not easy to do. Whether you're a legend and you come back, whether you've been a great goal scorer or Sir Alex Ferguson, players have to feel it at the back. It has to come from inside to do some of the things that Manchester United players do, and that's what we saw today. The tactics were right. Your goalkeeper comes up with brilliant saves, but that's what he can do. He's a world-class goalkeeper. Wasn't making those saves, strangely enough, when Jose Mourinho was there. What was the first thing David De Gea said in the interview, what Solskjaer's done? Happy. Made us happy.
Let me just throw one more thing out there. This isn't all sweetness and light for United. It isn't a complete team. And the United fans shouldn't think they're going to win every single game to the end of the season, because De Gea had to make 11 saves. De Gea had to make 11 saves, and some really outstanding ones. So there's work to do to be the complete team and defensively as well as going forward. But of course, today is a huge step forward in the belief and the happiness around United.
But doesn't it show us as well, Rob, that group of players we saw under Mourinho and were saying, are these players really good enough? Well, they've been good enough to go to Spurs today and win.
There was talk about him ripping up this squad and it needed a massive transition. That's wrong, because there were good players there. There are good players there. And now you're seeing it, obviously in a harder game.
Do you think that there's a chance that they may announce a new manager, were it to be Solskjaer, before the end of the season? Or are you fairly convinced that United are going to wait to the end of the season no matter what?
Well, the only thing that might change that is if Pochettino somehow publicly or through a statement or through something totally takes himself out of the position and Solskjaer continues to win many games and do a great thing, then you might see it. But I don't see that, Rebecca. I think it will go to the end of the season where there'll be a considered thought process, and of course Poch, whether they can get him out of Spurs.
The reason why the Pochettino has been put forward, Rebecca, the reason why he's the outstanding number 1 choice is he builds football clubs. It's not just about 90 minutes or the tactics. He develops teams, he plays strategy, players under him improve. There's a whole body of work that we've seen why he's the right man for Manchester United.
But we know how knee-jerk football can be. And if in 2 months' time we're still sitting here and maybe they're unbeaten, or they've kept winning, and they're in the top 4, and they're in the final of the FA Cup.
I'll be the first one, give Ollie the job. Forget about Pochettino.
Our resident knee-jerk pundit.
There you go.
Right there. Hi, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings on NBCSN.